Welcome to YLC, the Young Leaders Committee that promotes and grows youth leadership, that ensures the future leaders lead from today by educating and inspiring them to soar higher and higher.
Welcome to YLC, the Young Leaders Committee, the platform that educates, enlightens, inspires, and walks young people into leadership from their youth. Young people, your leadership era has started. Waiting for tomorrow might be an exercise in futility. We welcome you specially to the first session of episode 1/17 on the theme Rising Profile of Leaders. Rising Profile of Leaders. This series will steer you to give due attention to a crucial aspect of your career. In a world of academic and linguistic freedom, opinions vary about the meaning of a leader's profile. We won't bother you with those diverse views. We want to take our own definition, our own concept of rising profile of a leader. So in this series, the rising profile of a leader refers to the progression of a leader in his organization or profession, predicated majorly on considerable improvement in his or her character, conduct, competence, and composure. It has the connotation of speed from one level to another. To us, it is a leap that is outstanding. And we're going to have 4 sessions in this series. So today we take on session 1/17/1, and the topic is A Leader's Profile Matters. A leader's profile matters. The profile of a leader relates to the leader's life, work, character, interest, and others. It determines the amount of public attention and notice the leader receives or is likely to receive, which is based on positive developments that the leader has made. A profile generally contains or conveys very important or interesting facts about a person. It is pertinent to mention that even organizations have profiles and need to build their profiles. There is another profile that could easily be confused with the profile of a leader, and that is leadership profile. A leadership profile designates the attributes leaders within your company should have. It's not just for one leader. It is used as a checklist for hiring or for promoting staff or officers. It is also used to evaluate current leaders and to predict talented up-and-coming future leaders within the organization. Usually, there should be general organizational leadership profile and specific sections leadership profiles in organizations. Both the profile of a leader and that of the organization should rise frequently. This is necessary if they hope to stay ahead, if they hope to stay on top of the game, and for them to be able to displace their competitors. Rise in profile is an incontrovertible evidence that the leaders put in positions are alive and working assiduously. The organization must grow in every conceivable way for profit, for achievement of set goals, recognition in that field, for increased patronage, and others. In a sense, the profile of the organization and that of its leaders are in a sort of competition. But it's usually better for the rise in profile of leaders to exceed that of the organization. When the rise in profile of an organization exceeds those of leaders, it's possible and happens, but it is fraught with challenges. It has its challenges. And that's why, as much as possible, we should let the two grow. A leader's rising profile must relate to his work, must relate to the needs of the organization. If he or she is to be relevant, profitable, and highly appreciated, leaders are duty-bound, we may say, to improve themselves so as to develop the capability for new and higher roles in the organization. Their growth is sine qua non to the rise in profile of the organization. It's been found that the profile of certain organizations is really due to the rise in the profile of some of the officers or workers. It is expedient for such organizations to take cognizance of such leaders whose rising profiles are advertising, promoting, and bringing more clientele to the organization. This is imperative. It's very necessary, among others, to ensure that such leaders in the system are not enticed and drawn away. Leaders must be sensitive enough to balance competence, character, and charisma. Work hard to grow these and every other attribute that might be required. The secret is get them. Get these factors, get these requirements before the need arises. Always be a step or more ahead of opportunities and your contemporaries. That's how to fly as a leader. What are you to do when your rise in profile isn't related to your organization or profession? And how are you to go about that? That's the next thing we want to look at. This happens, but not very frequently, and it's usually occasioned by personal connections and interactions that you have outside your organization. It could pose a challenge, but certainly it's not a challenge beyond you. When your new profile is outside the requirements of your organization, then a number of things may ensue. Among them is frustration, largely due to complaints or failure to recognize and appreciate you appropriately. Ordinarily, you may begin to feel you aren't in the right place or that your days there are numbered. You may have your eyes outside very often, watching for any other opening outside, and this can pose a serious mental and emotional challenge to you. So what do? Sit yourself down and speak to yourself. Make an objective appraisal of yourself and your environment and decide to move on or diversify. That is, consciously and intentionally decide to grow your profile in your current organization, especially if you still admire the setting, you admire the system and the structure. But take note, indecision must not be allowed to linger for long. Let's now consider how to rise in profile in an organization or in your profession. It should be clear by now that to rise in profile as a leader is quite necessary, though with some foreseeable but surmountable challenges. To rise in the echelon of your organization, find out their top priority and what they prize most. Pick up the vision and mission statements of the organization. Study and digest them. Work around them closely. Draw from them profile direction and the things that can stimulate you and the elements that can steer your passion and the steps you take. Next is to seek out the route to rise. Know the costs but refuse to allow the costs to hinder or dissuade your pushing until you achieve your desire. Finally, be friends with the following. If and when you choose to have a rise in your profile, think. Think straight, think around, think 360 degrees. Think with your mind focused on the various strategies and issues we have discussed above. Think deeply on the profile of your organization and possible ways of helping to improve it. As you contribute to the rising of the profile of your organization, there's a likelihood of you also rising alongside. Read, study, inquire widely, think across to other organizations and their rising profiles or even their dwindling fortunes. You can learn from that and the probable causes as well as the means of turning things aright. Thank you very much for watching. This is Young Leaders Committee, a mentoring group for the growth and stability of young leaders and prospective leaders. It promises potentials and opportunities for encountering all classes of young people and turning them around for excellence. Registration has commenced. The earlier you get registered, the brighter your chances. You can use the link on the screen or visit our website www.gedamconsult.com to register. It's free. Thanks very much. See you at the next session.